everything is so still and so calm. There was that same eerie silence and calm after the hydrogen bomb was dropped on Hiroshima. But here is the difference. In Japan, there was death and destruction. In the weeks to follow, there would be more deaths and hopelessness for many years to come. The death of Jesus was a giving. It was a decision. Into your hands, O Lord, I commend my spirit. Like the legendary phoenix that rises from the ashes, Jesus would be raised from the dead. It is a beginning of a new hope, a new life, a new calm that is going to erupt into alleluias.
The National Catholic Broadcasting Council presents Reflections on Holy Week with Jesuit Father Michael Coutts.
After the Sabbath, as the first day of the week was dawning, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to see the tomb. And suddenly there was a great earthquake. For an angel of the Lord descending from heaven came and rolled back the stone and sat on it. His appearance was like lightning, and his clothing white as snow. For fear of him the guards shook and became like dead men. But the angel said to the women, "Do not be afraid. I know that you are looking for Jesus who was crucified. He is not here, for he has been raised, as he said. Come, see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples he has been raised from the dead. And indeed, he is going ahead of you to Galilee. There you will see him." This is my message for you.
While he was walking through Galilee, Jesus gave this command to his apostles that we read in Luke chapter 9, verse 23. If you want to be my follower, you must carry your cross daily. After the resurrection, the gift of Jesus to his followers was, "My peace I leave with you," as we read in the dramatic story of the resurrection in Matthew's Gospel. I would like to present at this time 3 pictures to you. The first is based on Psalm 139. The Spirit is a gift from God. Lord, you know me. You know me, you know everything. You can see whatever I am doing when I sit down and when I stand up. You protect me with your power. Our story goes back to the beginning of creation. The Lord was quite happy and content. He needed nothing. But God is love. And the very gift and the very essence of love is to give. And so when God was in the beginning of creation, he needed nothing. He was self-content. And yet he had to pour himself out. And he decided to create you and me. And God didn't do that like a magician pulling us out of the hat. God decided to prepare a whole stage for us. He created the birds of the air. He created the fishes in the water. He created animals on this land. And after each of those creations, God said, "It is good." But then when it came to creating the first human beings, Adam and Eve, God says, "It is very good." God does not do these things in half measures. God continues to pour God's self out to all of us. God gives generously, God gives all the time. But man, you and me, we sin. And God does not say, "Well, you've sinned, I'm going to take that back." God continues to give to us. If we would describe God in human terms, in anthropological terms, we would say that God got angry and God is ready to destroy us because of the evil in this world. But God will protect the good. God allows Noah to build an ark. And as the ark is coming over the waters, God gives them a sign of the rainbow. When I sin and when there's a hopelessness in my life, all I have to look is at the rainbow and realize that God is saying to me, come back to me with all your heart. I long to have you and to live a relationship that was there from the beginning of all creation. God gives and continues to give, and sometimes we take this for granted. We think that God owes us all these gifts of health and food and clothing, but God is abundant in all his gifts. A mother told her son to mow the lawn, and after he had mowed the lawn, the son came and he says, Mom, you owe me $2. 50 cents for mowing the lawn, 50 cents for cleaning my room, 50 cents for putting my toys together, 50 cents for doing my homework. And the mom gave him the $2, and she said to him, you know, son, for 9 months of carrying you before you were birthed and giving you birth, no charge. For getting up at night and changing your diapers when you cried, no charge. For taking you to school through all these years, no charge. And for doing all these things, no charge. And if I were to do it again, I would do it all the time, and there is no charge. Is it surprising that God's giving to us has been compared to a mother's giving, to a teacher caring for her children in the school, to a nurse caring for her patients? When Jesus was thinking of them, he thought when he took the bread into his hands, he blessed it, he broke it, and then he gave it to his disciples. There was a young boy called Howard Kelly who wanted to become a doctor. And in order to become a doctor, he went about selling encyclopedias, going from door to door. And one day, it was a real bad day. He didn't sell anything. He was hungry. He had a thin dime left in his pocket. And as he approached a barn, he decided, if they can give me something for this dime, it will be very good. As he approached the door and a young lady came and stood before him, he lost all his courage and he says, can I have a glass of water? And the young lady looked at him and realized how hungry and starving, and she says, I can do better with that. And she said, would you like a glass of milk? And he nodded eagerly. And when she finished drinking this glass of milk, he gave her the dime. And she says, my mother says, what is freely given to us, we must freely give. As Howard Kelly walked away, he went away not only less hungry, but with a new hope in humanity. Later on, he became a wonderful physician and surgeon in a famous hospital. One day, a call came to him, and as he looked down, he saw a name of a town that was very familiar. It was the same young girl who was sick. The local doctors tried to do something for her. She could not get well, and so they sent her to the big hospital in the city. As Dr. Kelly approached her and he recognized her, he was determined to do everything possible for this girl. And so he mustered his companions and helpers, and after many long months, he managed to conquer the disease. And he asked the rest of the hospital to send him all the bills before sending the bill on to the girl. And at the bottom, he wrote something and handed it on to her. And when she picked it up, she thought, I'm going to spend my whole life doing it. And at the bottom, it was written, paid in full with a glass of milk. God is constantly doing that to us. God is giving us gifts, gifts, and gifts. And God is saying, paid in full. As I said in the beginning, God made the fishes of the air. God made the animals on the land. God made the birds in the air, the fishes in the water, the animals on the land. And God says to each one of them, I give it to you, and there is no charge. You know, if you and I had lived all our lives keeping God's commandments, then the whole world would be so beautiful. I can remember so many years ago, I'd leave the key in the ignition. I'd never lock my doors. I'd never lock the church because everybody would be copacetic. It is the same picture that we read in Isaiah in the first week of Advent on Tuesday. It is a story of Isaiah as he tells us of how beautifully the world lives in harmony.